What's up, everybody? Welcome back to Minute on the Mountain. It's the Friday of Labor Day weekend. I'm out in the West Desert, and I'm in an area that a guide about 4 years ago told me held elk in it. So we're going to spend the night out here in Glass this evening and tomorrow morning. The wind it's just been blowing literally 30 to 40 miles an hour all day. So it's tough to hold your glass steady. It's got the dust all kicked up. It's about the worst possible day to try to be glassing, but it's the only day I have. So anyway, I haven't videoed anything. There hasn't been much to show you. I wasn't in the area where I wanted to be until just recently. It takes forever to get out here. It's definitely not the most rugged area of Utah. You know, there are steeper and harder places to get to, but it might be the most remote. I mean, it's Labor Day weekend, the last big outdoor camping weekend for a lot of families in Utah. I've seen one vehicle in the last 4 hours since I left the highway. There's just nobody out here. So anyway, we're gonna spend some time glassing all this to the east of me and then back over here to the west. Probably spend about at least 30 minutes, 45 minutes right here is glassing. Now I gotta try and find a spot tucked out of the wind a little bit to camp. I wouldn't even set my tent up in this. I've just got my little cheap Ozark Trail Walmart bivy tent, and I bet this wind would bust the poles. So if I can't find a way out of the wind, and if it doesn't die down, I may just sleep in the bed of the truck. I don't have to worry about mosquitoes. That's the good thing about the wind. So anyway, we're gonna get the glass on, see if we can find something. We'll let you know if we do. Well, guys, I got to the end of the road, literally. This little two-track I was on stops here on the top of this ridge. I've got 4 mule deer bedded, not this ridge in front of me, but the next ridge over that I've seen so far. It's still windy, but I think it's dying down just a little. It doesn't seem quite as bad as it's been all day, so maybe when the sun sets, it's gonna calm down, man. That'd be a blessing if it does. Just beneath me over here is a guzzler. I walked down there a minute ago. I didn't have the camera with me. And there are 2 sets of elk tracks by it, which is really cool. They're small. They look like cows, maybe even like a yearling calf. They're not very big, but I didn't see any bull tracks around it. But that's a good sign, and we know where there's a water source now up here. So this wasn't on the map, but I just marked it on onX. So anyway, I'm going to stay here until dark. I'd say the wind has to drop down more for me to want to camp up here. So we'll just kind of play that by ear. I'm going to keep glassing, and if the wind drops a little more, maybe I'll just go ahead and throw my tent down right here by the truck up here on the top of this. And then I think in the morning I'm going to do a big loop and just hike down, get up on top over there so I can see down on the other side, and then hike through all these junipers and cedars and that sage flat up over there. That's where those deer are bedded. So anyway, I'm excited. We're seeing some wildlife. The last time I came out here about 3 years ago or 4 years ago, I literally didn't see anything except a couple of antelope down low. So the fact that we're seeing deer is exciting, and those 2 elk track had me excited too. I know that's not very many, but if there's 2 up there by that guzzler, maybe we'll see some more. So let's see what happens. Oh guys, I wish I had a phone scope. Oh man. I just glassed one of the 10 biggest bucks. Shoot. Of course, I just scared everything away for 3 miles because my spotting scope just fell off the hood. Sorry about that. I just glassed up one of the 10 biggest bucks I've ever seen in my life. I'm not even going to try and guess to score it. It's too far away. I can see it in the binoculars, barely, but in the spotting scope, I can make out he's at least a 5x5. Looks like he has some trash on the one side. He is, I mean, it's just a beautiful buck. There's no way I can show it to you from here. I don't have a phone scope, but anyway, I'm going to keep watching him. I'm going to keep glassing around, though I don't want to get so awestruck on him that I miss elk moving around in case I can see some. But that's really cool. That made the whole trip right there. So anyway, we'll see where he goes. Maybe he'll get up and move. If he gets up and tries to move anywhere, I've got my my camera with the bigger zoom in the truck instead of just the GoPro. So and we've still got 2.5 hours of daylight easy. If he gets up and starts to move anywhere, I'll see if I can get some footage for you guys. But he is a monster. That's so cool. Yep, we got a bull, guys. It's a 4-point. It's not a big bull, but it's a bull. And I will take any bull. I would absolutely shoot that bull. I know you can't see it in the GoPro. So this ridge that's bare, and there's the ridge behind it with the trees. It's between those two. I'm not going to get my bigger camera out yet because he's, gosh, I don't know if he's a mile away, but he's close. So but he's working this way. If he gets out like in the open and crosses that open hillside and I can get my other camera, I'll get it out for you guys. All right, update. We've got a second bull. It's a spike. The 4-point turned and kind of started heading back away from me. The spike is in this draw right here, working towards me. Well, the wind and the rain did end up forcing me off the mountain last night. I was laying in the back of the truck. As I'd mentioned, I didn't set up my tent. The wind was just screaming and the thunderstorm came in, and if I could have stayed there an extra night, I would have just kind of ridden it out. But I couldn't miss church, which is tomorrow. So I don't know how much rain they ended up getting. It's pretty sunny today, but if it had got real slick up there and muddy and I'd have gotten stuck or something and missed church, that would have been bad. So anyway, I came off the mountain last night at about, I think 10:30 p.m., 11 p.m., something like that. Ended up getting home about 12:30 to 1 o'clock this morning. I'm not going to have a lot of footage on this. I took a lot more footage than what you just saw in the video, but I just don't want to make it super obvious where I was. Again, I said in one of the clips I was out in the West Desert, but I don't want to give any more information than that. It's still a month away for the season, and now that I know there are bulls there, I just want to be kind of careful about what kind of footage I put on. It's not that my channel gets a ton of traffic. I doubt anybody would see it, but I do know the area I deer hunt. I used to hardly ever see people hunt that, and now there's a lot of guys hunting that area. And that's part of that's because I've told them. I mean, I've always been one of those guys that if I found an area that had game in it, I'd tell people. And but I really want my son to have an opportunity to shoot a bull this year. So anyway, sorry for the limited footage, but I'm super excited that we saw some bulls. I want to try and get out there one more time before the season starts. You know, the fact that that spike and that little raghorn were off by themselves, I'm wondering if there's a bigger bull that's, you know, started to run off the satellite bulls. That'd be really cool. I mean, we'll take anything. I'm not being picky. So anyway, I hope to get up there one more time and do some more scouting. See if I can find one more water source. Really excited I found that guzzler. In fact, it looked like somebody had built a brush blind. At first I thought they were just blocking off so that nobody drove down to that guzzler, but the more I think about it, I'm guessing somebody's kind of built a brush blind there, and, you know, a ground blind out of trees and bushes, and probably they're sitting over that guzzler, which I don't blame them. It's a smart idea. So anyway, let's wrap this up with the channel shout out in a minute on the mountain. The channel I want to shout out is Today's Outdoor Adventure. It's another channel here in Utah. Does a lot of four-wheeler and like SUV or off side-by-side rides down in south central Utah. Gets a lot of great footage on those rides. He also likes to visit abandoned ghost towns, old farms, and take pictures of those, and he's just got a great eye for his shots. In fact, I just watched one of his videos about 30 minutes ago. So Today's Outdoor Adventure, check them out when you get a chance. I'll put a link in the description. And lastly, the men on the mountain is Romans 8:28, a very famous verse, one of my favorite verses in the Bible. It says, we know that in all things God works together for the good of those who love him and are called according to his purposes. So it doesn't say that God works all things together for the happiness or for the fun. Sorry, we got a car coming, guys. All right, we're back. I turned it off while that truck was passing. Anyway, it doesn't say that God works all things together for the fun or even the happiness of those that love him or called according to his purposes, but for their good. That verse has been very comforting to me over the years, that when I don't understand why things are happening, when I don't get God's plan in it, he's not under any obligation to tell me his plan, but he has assured me that he's working things together for my good. The other thing, there's a restrictive part to that verse too. It says he's working all things together for the good of those who love him and are called according to his purposes. So if you don't have a relationship with Jesus Christ, I don't believe that verse applies to you. And I don't say that to try and single anyone out or anything like that, but if you want those promises that God gives to his people, then we need to accept what Jesus has done for us, put our faith in him, and trust in his finished work on the cross. Anyway, that's Romans 8:28. If you have any additional questions on that, feel free to reach out. Thanks so much for coming along. I'm excited that we found some bulls. Looking forward to the season.